Ticket to Ride Map Collection, United Kingdom. Released in 2015, the United Kingdom map, designed by Alan R. Moon, is truly a unique expansion for 2 to 5 players familiar with Ticket to Ride and is published by Days of Wonder.
In Ticket to Ride United Kingdom, you are a pioneering railroad magnate in the 19th century British Isles, laying tracks across England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, and even to New York, completing secret destination tickets while, unlike the base game, starting with primitive technology that restricts you to train routes only 1 or 2 trains long in England, forcing you to spend precious locomotives on technology cards to unlock longer routes, ferries, and access to distant regions for expansion and massive scores. Each turn before your main action, you may buy 1 technology card by discarding the listed locomotives. For example, 1 locomotive for a mechanical stoker to claim 3 train routes, or concessions to build in Scotland, Ireland, or Wales. You can spend 2 locomotives for propellers to claim ferry routes. And in addition, 4 cards of any color can substitute for 1 locomotive. Then you're going to choose 1 action, draw 3 new destination tickets, and keep at least one in secret. You can draw 2 train cards from the 5 face-up or the deck, or claim a route and score points by playing matching colored train cards equal to its length and placing your trains on the board. Some technology cards, like the steam turbine, score extra points for each ferry card you complete. Game ends when any player is down to 0 or 2 trains left, granting everyone 1 final turn. Scoring includes points already earned from routes, plus or minus values from completed or failed tickets. And in this edition, no one receives a longest route or globetrotting bonus. And the magnate with the most points wins and forges Britain's most incredible rail legacy. So, the difference of this one is the big time of the technology cards. You are start the game only limited to train routes of 1 or 2 trains long, which I really love because the game starts out really tight. You can only do these routes in England, in the England portion of the map. So you have to expand out from there. And I think that's really cool, having some of those restrictions on early in the game and unlocking them as you go.
Yeah, so to summarize, you have the 2 restrictions. You're restricted on technology and you're restricted on location. You can only do 1 or 2 routes in the United Kingdom, correct?
In England.
In England. Yep, not the whole United Kingdom. Thank you for that brief geography lesson in that part of the United Kingdom. Great. Correct. And I think we can just set the table for the entire segment and say, of all the Ticket to Ride games that we have covered on this show, base Ticket to Ride Europe, Ticket to Ride Cities, last week we had the other side of this map. This is the most hobby level, or quote unquote, air quote, gamer level Ticket to Ride that there is. Correct?
Yes, agreed. The other thing that's interesting about this game is, unlike any of the other Ticket to Rides, your opponents are putting down their routes on the map, but you don't really have an idea of where they're going, right? And you can kind of confuse people and spread some out, and like, I'm going to put some over in this area, I'm going to put some over here, maybe I'll try and connect them later. This game has a really cool thing, which, if you want to get into Ireland, if you want to get into Scotland, you have to buy the rights to build in that region. So the second that Michael buys a concession into Scotland, I know he's got plans to go into Scotland. Otherwise, you wouldn't waste a locomotive doing that, which I think is really cool. You get an idea of, based on those concessions and the technologies that people are buying, what type of strategy, where they might be going. If they want that ferry technology early, well, maybe are they going to try and get to New York? Are they, where are they going? They need 3 train long routes. Where are they building? So just keeping an eye on that and where people buy technology. There's 2 levels of technology. One that's kind of the base game, and for the most part, there's 4 of each card. But there are some advanced ones and some trickier ones that only have 1 or 2. So you might need to be the first one to get those to be the only one that has that ability.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can play defense the same way that you could play offense in this version of Ticket to Ride. And what I mean by that, what you talked about with having the technology, and what I talked about with saying that this is the most, gamer Ticket to Ride that we've reviewed to date, is because that technology piece, there's that if this, then that. If I have this type of technology, then I can do that. I can do 4 routes because I have the technology that allows me now complete routes of up to 4 trains. But I also have to keep in mind the claims that you just talked about. Well, it's great that I could do the 4 routes, but if I can't even connect into Scotland, then joke's on me. So I like that you have to have the claims, but also the technology and have an idea of where you want to go. The other thing that is just astounding in a map that is so tight and everything is so shrunken in, you can have a 40-point route. I don't think I've seen that in Ticket to Ride before, Doug, where you can just plop down some cards and say, boom, I'm going from Southampton to New York. There's 40 points.
And how many train cards is that?
Yeah, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards, and 3 of them must be wild because they have the ferry token, right? That's how that works?
Yep.
So you're going to need 3 wilds and then 7 of something else that are the same to go from Southampton to New York, but you'd get 40 points. You might spend the whole game trying to do it, but you could.
Yeah. You had mentioned that this is the most gamery version of Ticket to Ride, and I think one of the ways to kind of summarize this game is you can talk about technology, and of course some of the regular abilities that you have in Ticket to Ride are stripped down, right? You need to acquire those, the ability to build longer routes, those type of things. But it also includes extra stuff that you can't do in regular Ticket to Ride, whether it's scoring more points for ferry routes or for every ticket you complete, you get an extra 2 points, things like that. Or I believe there's one where it's like you can get a discount on building routes. And I would describe this game this expansion is Ticket to Ride with special powers. Most people that are gamers will understand that idea of this is a Ticket to Ride that you like, and it has special powers. So if you're always looking for that thing where it's like, I wish I could do something special or different, this is a game that has that. It goes from stripping some of your abilities away to building up and past what you can do in base Ticket to Ride, which I think is really cool. Any concerns for you on this one, Michael?
Well, the only concerns, and it's really a first time that you play the game, you cannot do all things.
Yeah.
You just can't. You're not going to be able to have the perfect route where you get into Ireland, maybe you go up to Scotland, you went down into France, and everything just worked out perfectly. And I think in the cities versions of Ticket to Ride and even the base US map of Ticket to Ride, you can have a lot of games, unless people are absolutely cutthroat at the table, where things work out perfectly. What I like about Ticket to Ride UK is figuring out and kind of sorting out what you can actually do in the 30 to 35 minutes that you're going to play. The game plays quickly, and figuring out those limitations and constraints to me is part of the fun.
Yeah. All right, cool. So check that one out if you're interested. That is Ticket to Ride United Kingdom. It's Map Collection 5, United Kingdom and Pennsylvania. These expansions and the maps were so different that we split them up. So if you are interested in the Pennsylvania side, check out last week's episode or the YouTube channel to see the version of that. But that is the Ticket to Ride Map Collection, United Kingdom and Pennsylvania from Days of Wonder.